My beloved child, pause for a moment and breathe slowly. Because the truth you are about to hear was never meant to be spoken so openly. Yet somehow it has reached you, and that alone is not a coincidence. Something deep in the unseen world has been moving quietly around you, while you were busy living your normal days and thinking that nothing important was happening. But the truth is that something very powerful has already begun to unfold. And the reason this message has reached you right now is because the hidden energy around your soulmate has finally started revealing secrets that were buried for a long time. Someone very close to your soulmate, someone who has watched both of you from a distance, someone who understands emotions that were never spoken out loud, has finally opened their heart. And what they revealed was something that even your soulmate never expected. Because the truth they shared was not just a small confession, it was a deep emotional truth about you, about your connection, and about feelings that have been silently growing stronger every single day, even when you were not aware of it. And when this person finally spoke those words, the room became quiet. Because the weight of that truth was too real to ignore. They said that your presence has been affecting your soulmate more than anyone realizes. They said that your soulmate tries to hide it, tries to act normal, tries to pretend that everything is under control. But deep inside their heart something changes whenever your name appears. Whenever your memory crosses their mind. Whenever your energy enters their world, even if you are miles away. And this person who revealed the truth explained that they have seen your soulmate in moments when nobody else was watching. Moments when your soulmate looked at their phone, hoping to see a message from you. Moments when your soulmate paused in silence, because a certain memory of you suddenly appeared in their mind. Moments when your soulmate felt emotions they could not explain to anyone else. And the most surprising part is that the person who revealed all this did not say it with judgment. They said it with honesty. Because they believe that some connections are too powerful to stay hidden forever. And they believe that what is happening between you and your soulmate is something that cannot be ignored anymore. They said that your energy has slowly become a part of your soulmate's inner world. And even when they try to focus on other things, even when they try to move forward in life, there is always a quiet thought of you somewhere in their mind, like a whisper that refuses to fade away. And the reason this truth matters right now is because after revealing these feelings, the person who spoke those words also shared something even more surprising. They revealed that your soulmate has been planning something quietly. Something that they have not told anyone else about. Something that could change the direction of your connection in ways you might never expect. They explained that your soulmate has been thinking deeply about you, about the past, about moments that felt meaningful, and about things that were left unsaid. And all those thoughts have slowly turned into a decision that has been growing stronger inside their heart every single day. They said that your soulmate may appear calm on the outside. But inside their mind they are preparing for a moment that could bring clarity between you both. A moment where the silence that has existed for so long might finally break. And the truth that has been hidden between your hearts might finally come into the light. And the person who revealed all of this said something else that felt almost unbelievable. They said that your soulmate is afraid, not because they do not care, but because they care more than they want to admit. They fear the possibility of rejection. They fear the possibility that their feelings might not be understood. They fear the idea that opening their heart might change everything forever. Yet despite that fear, something inside them continues to push them forward. Something inside them refuses to let this connection disappear without a real answer. And that is why the secret plan they are forming is not something small. It is something that could completely change the way you both see each other, and the way your story continues from this point forward. Because sometimes destiny does not shout, it whispers slowly, guiding two people closer until the moment finally arrives when truth can no longer be hidden. And according to the person who revealed all of this, that moment may be approaching much faster than anyone expects. They believe that the emotional tension that has been building between you and your soulmate is reaching a point where silence will no longer feel comfortable. Where unanswered feelings will no longer stay quiet. And when that moment arrives, the energy between you both may shift in a way that makes everything clearer than it has ever been before. So do not ignore the subtle signs appearing around you. Do not dismiss the small coincidences, the unexpected memories, the quiet emotional pull that sometimes appears without warning. Because those moments are not random. They are echoes of a deeper connection that has been growing stronger behind the scenes. And even now, as you read these words, something within your heart may already sense that this message carries a truth meant specifically for you. Because the story between you and your soulmate is not finished. It has simply been waiting for the right moment. For hidden feelings to be revealed. For courage to rise where fear once stood. And for two hearts to finally understand what destiny has been trying to show them all along. And when that moment finally arrives, you may look back at this exact moment and realize that this was the point where everything quietly began to change. My beloved child, stay with me a little longer and listen carefully, because the story unfolding around your heart has not reached its end yet. In fact, what you have just heard is only the surface of something much deeper that has been quietly growing between you and your soulmate for a long time. The person who revealed those hidden feelings did not speak without reason. They spoke because they could no longer ignore the signs they had been witnessing again and again. They had seen how your soulmate's eyes changed whenever your name appeared in conversation. They had noticed the silence that followed whenever someone mentioned you unexpectedly. There were moments when your soulmate tried to act indifferent, tried to laugh and move the conversation somewhere else, yet the truth could be seen in the small pauses that followed. Those pauses were not empty. They were filled with thoughts about you. And the one who revealed the truth said something even more powerful. They said that your soulmate has been fighting an inner battle that nobody else truly understands. On one side there is fear. Fear of saying too much. Fear of revealing emotions that might not be returned in the same way. Fear that opening their heart might create a moment they cannot control. But on the other side there is something even stronger. There is a feeling that keeps returning no matter how much they try to silence it. A feeling that reminds them of you during quiet nights. A feeling that appears in small unexpected memories. A feeling that refuses to disappear even when they try to focus on other things in life. And the person who spoke these words explained that they believe this inner conflict is reaching a point where it cannot continue forever. Because the more your soulmate tries to hide their feelings, the more those feelings grow stronger inside them. It is like a truth that keeps knocking at the door of their heart. And every time they try to ignore that knock, it returns again, louder than before. There were moments, the person said, when your soulmate almost decided to speak to you directly. Moments when they held their phone in their hands and stared at the screen for a long time. Moments when they typed a message and then erased it again, unsure if the words were right. Those moments may seem small, but they reveal something very important. They show that your soulmate has been thinking about reaching out to you more often than you realize. They show that the distance between you both has not erased the connection that exists underneath. In fact, that distance may have made the emotions clearer. Because when someone is truly important to your heart, time and space do not erase their presence. Instead, they make the truth impossible to ignore. And the person who revealed all of this also shared something that might surprise you even more. They said that your soulmate has started noticing signs that remind them of you in strange and unexpected ways. Sometimes it happens through a song that suddenly appears while they are alone. Sometimes it happens through a place that reminds them of a moment connected to you. Sometimes it happens through a simple thought that arrives without warning in the middle of an ordinary day. And every time it happens, your soulmate feels the same quiet question inside their mind. They begin to wonder if this connection between you both was meant to be understood, not ignored. They begin to wonder if the reason your memories keep returning is because there is still something unfinished between your hearts. The person who spoke the truth said they could see that question growing stronger inside your soulmate every day. And that is why they believe the plan your soulmate is forming will not remain hidden forever. Because when emotions reach a certain point, they demand to be expressed. Silence becomes heavy. Unspoken words begin to feel like a weight that cannot be carried any longer. And your soulmate is slowly reaching that point. A point where honesty may feel less frightening than silence. A point where speaking the truth might feel like the only way to find peace inside their heart. That is why this moment you are living now is more important than it appears. Even if nothing dramatic has happened yet, the energy around your connection is shifting quietly. Small realizations are forming inside your soulmate's mind. Courage is slowly replacing hesitation. And every day that passes brings them closer to a decision that could change everything. The person who revealed these secrets said they believe that when the moment finally arrives, it may not look dramatic at first. It might come through a simple message. It might come through a conversation that feels ordinary at the beginning. But inside that moment will be something powerful. Inside that moment will be the truth your soulmate has been holding inside for so long. And when that truth is finally spoken, it will bring clarity to questions that have remained unanswered between you both. It will reveal whether the feelings that have been growing silently are ready to be shared openly. So keep your heart open during this time. Do not rush the story that destiny is writing between you and your soulmate. Some connections take time to reveal their true purpose. Some emotions need silence before they find the courage to speak. And sometimes the most meaningful turning points in life arrive quietly, almost unnoticed at first. But when you look back later, you realize that everything began to change during those quiet moments. And right now, whether you realize it or not, you may already be standing inside one of those moments. A moment where hidden truths are slowly coming into the light. A moment where two hearts are moving closer to understanding what they truly mean to each other. And when the next step of this story finally appears, you may discover that the connection you once questioned was guiding both of you toward the same truth all along. My beloved child, remain calm and keep listening, because the story that surrounds you and your soulmate is still unfolding in ways you may not fully understand yet. What you have heard so far is only one part of a much deeper truth that has been forming quietly behind the scenes. The person who revealed those hidden feelings did not stop observing after speaking their truth. In fact, they continued to notice small changes in your soulmate that slowly confirmed everything they had already sensed. They began to see that your soulmate had become more thoughtful than before. There were moments when your soulmate would suddenly fall silent during conversations, as if their mind had drifted somewhere far away. And in those silent moments, the person watching could feel that the thoughts returning again and again were connected to you. It was not something dramatic or obvious. It was something subtle. A quiet shift in attention. A pause in the middle of an ordinary moment. A look that appeared distant for a few seconds before they returned to the present again. Those small details revealed a truth that could not be easily denied. Your presence had become a part of your soulmate's inner world, whether they admitted it openly or not. The person who revealed this secret also explained that they once asked your soulmate a simple question during a quiet moment. They asked whether there was someone in their life whose absence still felt strangely meaningful. At first, your soulmate tried to avoid the question. They smiled and said nothing important was on their mind. But after a short silence, their expression changed slightly. It was not a big reaction. Yet it was enough for the observer to understand that the question had touched something real inside them. Because sometimes the truth of the heart appears not through words but through silence. And that silence revealed more than any direct confession could have done. From that moment, the person who was watching realized that the connection between you and your soulmate had never truly faded. It had only moved into a quieter place inside their heart. A place where emotions continue to live even when they are not spoken aloud. They also noticed that your soulmate had begun reflecting more deeply on the past. There were moments when they would remember conversations they once had with you. Moments when they would think about things that were left unsaid between you both. Those reflections were not filled with regret. Instead, they carried a gentle curiosity. A quiet wondering about what might have happened if certain words had been spoken differently, or if certain moments had lasted longer. And the more your soulmate reflected on those memories, the more they began to realize that the connection they shared with you had been different from anything else they had experienced before. It had not been ordinary. It had not been something easily replaced or forgotten. It had been something that left a lasting mark on their heart. The person who revealed this truth said that during one evening conversation, your soulmate finally admitted something small but meaningful. They said that some people enter your life and leave memories that fade with time. But a few rare people enter your life and become a part of who you are even after distance and silence appear. When they said those words, their voice was calm, yet there was a depth behind it that could not be ignored. And the observer understood that those words were not spoken randomly. They were reflections of feelings that had been growing quietly for a long time. That is when the person who revealed the secret realized that your soulmate was slowly moving toward a realization of their own. A realization that the connection between you both was still alive beneath the surface of everyday life. They began to believe that your soulmate was preparing themselves emotionally for a moment when the truth could no longer remain hidden. Because there comes a time in every meaningful connection when the heart grows tired of silence. The unanswered questions begin to feel heavier than the fear of speaking honestly. And when that moment arrives, something powerful begins to shift inside a person. Courage appears slowly where hesitation once lived. Clarity begins to replace confusion. And the path that once seemed uncertain begins to reveal itself little by little. The person who shared this story believes that your soulmate may be approaching that exact moment now. Not suddenly. Not dramatically. But slowly and naturally, as the understanding inside their heart becomes clearer. They believe that your soulmate has begun to accept something they once tried to ignore. The truth that your presence in their life carried a meaning that cannot easily disappear. And once that truth is fully accepted, it often leads to a simple yet powerful decision. The decision to reach out. The decision to speak honestly. The decision to finally understand what the connection between two hearts was always meant to reveal. This is why you may begin to notice small changes around you in the days ahead. Small signs that the energy between you and your soulmate is shifting again. Perhaps a memory will return unexpectedly. Perhaps a message will appear when you least expect it. Perhaps a conversation will begin in a simple way and slowly grow into something deeper. These moments may seem ordinary at first, yet they often carry the seeds of something much more meaningful. Because destiny rarely announces its arrival with loud declarations. Instead, it moves quietly through small choices and unexpected moments that gradually bring two paths closer together. And if the person who revealed these secrets is correct, then the path between you and your soulmate may already be moving toward another important turning point. A moment when understanding replaces uncertainty. A moment when the quiet feelings both of you have carried begin to find their voice. When that moment arrives, you may finally see that the distance and silence that once existed were not the end of your story. They were only part of the journey that was preparing both of you to understand the depth of your connection more clearly. And when two people finally reach that understanding, they often discover that the bond between them was never truly broken. It was simply waiting for the right time to be seen for what it truly is. A connection that continues to live quietly until the moment comes when two hearts are ready to recognize it again. My beloved child, now listen carefully, because this is the final part of the message, the moment where everything that has been quietly building around you begins to reveal its deeper meaning. The story of you and your soulmate was never meant to be understood in a single moment. It was always meant to unfold slowly, step by step, until both hearts were ready to see the truth that had been standing quietly between them all along. The person who revealed those hidden feelings did not speak only to create curiosity. They spoke because they believed that the time of silence between you and your soulmate is slowly coming to an end. For a long time your connection existed like a quiet flame. It was there, but it was hidden beneath layers of hesitation, distance, and unspoken emotions. Yet even when life moved forward and new days came and went, that quiet flame never completely disappeared. It remained inside your soulmate's heart, sometimes faint, sometimes strong, but always present. The observer who shared these secrets began to notice that something inside your soulmate had started changing in recent days. There was a new kind of reflection in their thoughts. A deeper understanding of what your presence had meant in their life. It was as if they were finally allowing themselves to see the connection clearly instead of pushing it away. They started remembering not only the big moments you shared but also the small ones. The brief conversations that once felt ordinary but now seemed meaningful. The small gestures that carried warmth. The quiet moments when simply knowing you were there had brought comfort to their heart. Those memories began to form a clear picture inside their mind. A picture that showed them something important. It showed them that the connection between you both had never been random. It had been real, meaningful, and deeply emotional in ways they had not fully understood before. And once your soulmate started seeing that truth clearly, another realization followed. They began to understand that some connections are not meant to be ignored forever. Some feelings return again and again until they are finally acknowledged. And that realization slowly gave birth to something new inside their heart. It gave birth to courage. Not loud dramatic courage, but quiet steady courage. The kind of courage that grows when someone finally decides to stop running from what they truly feel. The person who revealed these secrets said they could sense that this change inside your soulmate was becoming stronger each day. They noticed that your soulmate had begun thinking about the future differently. They were no longer only looking forward. They were also looking back at the path that had led them here. And somewhere along that path your presence stood out more clearly than ever before. That is when the observer realized that your soulmate was reaching a moment of understanding. A moment when the question was no longer whether the connection between you mattered. The real question had become what they should do about it now. And when a person reaches that kind of realization, their heart often begins guiding them toward action. Not rushed action, not impulsive decisions, but meaningful steps that come from genuine emotion. Your soulmate may soon feel that the only way to understand this connection fully is to face it honestly. To reach out. To speak. To see what truth still lives between you both. The person who revealed all of this believes that the next step of your story will not be created by coincidence alone. It will be shaped by the courage of two hearts choosing honesty over silence. And when that moment arrives, it may feel surprisingly simple. Perhaps a message will appear. Perhaps a conversation will begin softly without dramatic words. Yet inside that simple moment will exist something powerful. The breaking of silence that has lasted for so long. The beginning of a new understanding between you and your soulmate. When that happens, you may finally realize that the waiting, the confusion, the distance, and the quiet emotions you both carried were not meaningless struggles. They were part of a journey that was teaching both of you the value of the connection you share. Because some bonds are not meant to appear easily. They grow through time, reflection, and emotional awakening. And when those bonds finally reveal themselves clearly, they often carry a depth that ordinary connections cannot match. This is why you must keep your heart calm and open during the days ahead. Do not let doubt convince you that everything is finished or forgotten. Life has a mysterious way of bringing unfinished connections back into the light when the time is right. And if the truth that has been revealed about your soulmate is real, then the story between you both is not something that disappeared. It is something that has been quietly waiting for understanding. Waiting for courage. Waiting for the moment when two people finally recognize what their hearts have been trying to tell them all along. And now, my beloved child, as this message reaches its final words, remember one simple truth. The most meaningful connections in life are not always the ones that appear quickly. They are the ones that continue to exist even after silence, distance, and uncertainty. They are the ones that return to your thoughts when you least expect it. They are the ones that quietly shape your heart until the day you finally understand why they were placed in your life. And if destiny has truly written a deeper story between you and your soulmate, then the path ahead will reveal it in its own perfect moment. When that moment comes, you will not need anyone else to explain it. Your heart will recognize the truth instantly. And you will understand that everything that happened before was only leading both of you toward this moment of clarity, where two hearts finally see each other not through confusion or fear, but through the quiet, powerful understanding that they were always meant to find.